can I really, do well by building authority links from other sites? Is that really going to recover me? So looking at that's can your site recover? So looking at this here, you have a couple of options. Okay, the first we're going to look at is trying to get back into Google's good graces, and there's a few ways to do this. One thing that we've been talking about for months and months and months is starting a blog on your site and posting regularly. Okay, and that's important because not only is it going to give your site fresh content, and before we start on this, let me just make something clear. The penguin penalty was not from not having fresh content on your site. So this doesn't address the penguin penalty directly, but indirectly, if you're putting fresh content on your site every day or every 2 days, and it's quality content, okay, and you're getting people that are visiting your site and spending time on your site, they're going to naturally link back to your site, and over time, Google's going to have to stand up and say, hey, this site is having constant fresh content. There's lots of people spending lots of time on it. They're going to have to give you respect back, and that's one good way to get back into Google's good graces. And even sites that we've had hit hard, I took one of the hardest hit sites we had, and started blogging on it pretty regularly just to see what we could do, and it would rank for these long tail keywords. So even though they get hit hard, doesn't mean you can't rank for some things, and that bleeds right into this subcategory here, your long tail keywords. When you put a blog on your site, one of the most important things you can do is you could write these blog posts and you can target these long tail keywords. They don't have to be keywords that have lots of search volume or any search volume. Depending on if any of you read our blog post, I don't know, it was maybe a month or so ago, based on Google's queries. It was something like 15% of queries every day run on Google they've never seen before, ever, never, which seemed like an awful high number to me. So that means you don't have to target these words and do the keyword research that everybody else does. You can look at these long tail keywords, you can add words. There's a good site that I like to use. It's called ubersuggest.org. Uber, I think it's UEBER, suggest.org. And it's a pretty cool site because you can put in a long tail keyword. You can do your research with whatever keyword research you want. Put in this long tail keyword, hit suggestions, and it's going to spit out a whole bunch of long tail keyword suggestions that have been searched for but may not show up in a lot of these different keyword type of tools because the volume is so low. And those are great keywords to target because you can rank for them quickly, and you can keep people you can get highly targeted traffic for it. So that's, if you want to get back in Google's good graces and you don't have a blog on your site, start one. They're not hard. Blog on it every day and target long tail keywords. If you have a blog and it's been static, get it up and running. Post on it. That's going to help you. The second way to get back in Google's good graces, like I say, promote your site like a business. Another thing that we noticed is sites that were promoted like a business, sites that had a presence on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. These sites, again, I come back to the niche directories, sites that were really promoted as businesses, and not all of our sites are. Some of them are real just niche sites that sell things. But the ones promoted like a business seem to do very well after this update. The ones not promoted like a business seem to fall. Even if it's not just to get back in Google's good graces, it's a great way to promote your site because you're going to draw traffic from these other places. Promote it like a business. Go to Google Places, Insider Pages, City Search. All these local listings. Get your business listed. Again, free and paid niche directories and listed. Participate in highly relevant forums. I'll guarantee you, whatever niche you're in, there's multiple forums that are extremely related to your particular niche. Find one, find two, find three, and go participate in them. Put a link back to your site in your signature. Some of them will make you post, 25 or 30 times before you can put a link in your signature. Participate, answer people's questions, and not only not only are you getting links from your signature there, but more importantly, you're participating with people that are interested in your niche. So you're going to get direct traffic from people that, you know, if you help somebody answer their question, they're going to come back to your site and they're going to say, oh, this guy or this lady helped me with this question, and I've got another one. Let's go see what their site has to say. And that's going to bring you direct traffic as well. You know, also, you know, press releases, video, guest posting, you know, those are all good quality ways that legitimate businesses promote themselves online. You know, so if you want to get back in Google's good graces, promote your site like a business, get a blog on your site, post regularly. I mean, those are probably the two best pieces of advice I can give you, in addition to watching your ratios with, like I say, with the URL variations. Okay.
You know, the one thing I would just want to, you know, again, for you folks that don't know, I'm a internet marketing coach, and I work for one of the large training organizations in the internet marketing world. But the one thing I want is the internet's been like the wild, wild west for the last, you know, 15 years. You could go on there and kind of do what you want. Well, now the sheriff and the law is coming in, and we're getting some law and order in. And so it's if you want to make money with your site, then you need to start running it like a business. It's not just build it and they will come. And if you don't want to make money with your site, that's okay too. You can still do your blog and still have a place to, you know, voice your, you know, your opinions and things like that. That's fine too. But I think that's important. It needs to be treated like a business. And, you know, think about, it's kind of like when it's a small, I really think you need to get your business going now to be able to last long term on the internet. I think there will be a day when it will be harder to get a site up than it is now. You know, we know how hard it is to find a URL now, you know, the domain. So, you know, I just think that, you know, again, the days of the wild, wild west are over. Some law and orders coming in, and you got to run it like a business.
Well, I think that's a good point, Renee. I mean, we spoke about this just the other day. You know, the internet hasn't really been around that long. I guess it's been around for, I don't know, 40 years since inception, but it really hasn't been in people's everyday lives for more than, I don't know, 10 or 15 years at the most. And 20 years from now, you know, you're going to have people that have been entrenched online, and you're not just going to be able to start a new site and get it ranked and get lots of traffic just because it's going to be, you know, you're going to be dealing with companies that are established, and you know, I think you're exactly right. You've got to run it like a business, because long term, that's what it is.
Well, and I always like to tell people too, don't worry about competing with the Amazons or the, you know, whatever it is that you're competing against. Amazon hasn't always been Amazon. And honestly, there was a day when Kmart didn't think Walmart was a threat. You know, okay. So, you know, but they built their business. Now, I'm not saying I'm for Walmart or anything like that. I'm just saying that there was a time when Kmart was, you know, the big man on the block when it came to discount department stores. And there was a day when Walmart didn't think Target was a threat. So, you know, it all happens, but you just grow what you have, and I think you're right. Establish what you have now, and you're right. 20 years from now, you'll be like, wow, you know, Chris, he's got this wonderful site. He and his wife are great, and look what they do. And Renee and her husband have this site, and you know, they've been around. I wish we could do that, but it's not always fun, you know. Got to build it.
So, okay. All right, so on to the next slide. So our second option, don't try to get back in Google's good graces. And this is an option that a lot of people aren't even talking about. But I think it's one that you have to consider. You know, and you've got to take stock of your site and what's happened and why it's gotten there. You know, you should know fairly well what you've been doing in promotion, and you know, you should know what's gotten you where you are, and whether you can, you know, bring this site out of the Google funk that it might be in, and ask yourself, you know, is it going to take you more time to recover, or is it going to be better if you just start over with a new site? You know, something else to think about is, can you afford the lost traffic if adjusting for Google impacts these other traffic sources? You know, does your site have rankings on Bing and Yahoo? I know a lot of my sites do, and all of them do. And even though Google is the big boy on the block with I think they've got close to 70% market share. Still, Yahoo and Bing definitely drive traffic, and these changes are Google specific. Yahoo and Bing, you know, they're not copying what Google's doing. Eventually, they're likely going to change their algorithms to follow suit, but right now they're not. So if you're still getting traffic from Yahoo and Bing, and it's substantial enough that you don't want to lose it, you know, you might think about starting over and starting a site that's just for Google. You know, it's something to consider. You know, because link building that doesn't work for Google right now definitely works for Yahoo and Bing. You know, you can rank there. You know, and I'm not saying that you can't make your site Google friendly and still have it rank well in Yahoo and Bing, because you definitely can. But depending on what you decide you're going to do, if you decide you're going to try to get a bunch of links removed, or you decide you're going to stop building anchor text links to start building URL variation links so that you can get ranking in Google better again, you know, those same indicators are not going to hold true in Yahoo and Bing. So you've got to consider that. You know, that's important. You know, one downside to this, you know, if you're creating one site for Yahoo and Bing and one for Google, is Google doesn't want you creating multiple sites with essentially the same content. You know, I definitely wouldn't make them duplicate content sites, but related sites, you know, I don't see a downside to that. And in fact, again, through our case studies, we built out multiple niche sites that are highly related. You know, and some of those sites, you know, you've got one that is promoted as a business on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Facebook, and so forth. And then the other sites are not, but they're kind of feeder sites. Okay, the sites that are promoted as a business get popped up, and they've been doing much better. The other sites have been hit, and they're doing worse, and they may get hit to certain degrees or whatnot. But overall, you know, none of the rankings are lost on Yahoo and Bing. And overall, that main site that's promoted as business, even though you've got these other sites that Google may see as highly related sites, and they don't want you to have multiple highly related sites interlinking, the penalty hasn't bled through to the main sites that are being promoted as the businesses. So I don't see a downside to this option, and it's an option to consider, especially if you're getting decent traffic still. You know, creating one site for Google, creating one site for Yahoo and Bing.